Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Sarah Ford and Megan Easterday, both from Sold Out, a program of pregnancy choices.
Yes.
First of all, I know some people are listening to this thing. Our school needs this. How do we get these ladies? So how do they get you?
Contact us. Contact us. We have a few ways that you can get in touch with us. One of the best ways that you can connect in this modern digital age is by email. And our email is soldout@psestark.com. That's probably the best way to contact us. However, we do have a phone number that you can call at our main location. It's 330-455-7500.
Can you give that one more time, please?
330-455-7500. And you ask for the Sold Out office, and they'll direct you down there. And you're probably going to talk with some lovely lady at the front. So don't get confused. Be like, oh, this is not sold out. It will not be sold out immediately.
But it will be.
To us. Yes.
It'll send you right to you, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, and as far as like the rest of the school year, are you still taking bookings? Can you do this?
Yeah, we have a few weeks open left for the fall, but we're pretty much full. But spring semester, we still have many weeks available.
Open.
Great.
Plenty.
And they need to plan on about a week.
Yeah,
having
it's
you
a
come in.
4-day presentation. Typically, we do Tuesday through Friday, just so they can kind of maybe prepare the students on Monday and get what they need out of the way for the week, that kind of stuff.
But we have flexibility too. If you need to do something different, if you just contact us, we can work it out with you because we want our program to be in the school. We want our students to hear really good truth.
Tell us, just for a little peer pressure of our own, in case anyone's listening saying, well, that's for other schools need that. Our kids aren't having this problem. What schools are you in? Are you allowed to say?
Well, we are in
31 schools.
Yeah, 31 schools.
There you go.
We're in private schools. We are in public schools. We're in Christian schools. We are all over the place. And every single school that has us has had us back over and over again.
So if they are not in your school, you're the odd man out.
You are.
There really aren't too many that we're not in.
Yeah.
So
Great.
it's great.
It's really wonderful.
All right. 330-455-7500.
Correct.
All right.
Absolutely.
Write that down, commit it to memory, and give them a call. But first, listen to the rest of what they've got to say, because I know this is going to be good. We left off talking about media, and I'm thinking about even just right now, Renee Zellweger is back as Bridget.
Bridget Jones.
Yes.
Jones, yeah.
And the plot line is she's having a baby, and she doesn't know who the husband is, and this is a comedy, and we're all going to just laugh our heads off at this hilarious problem that she's having. Let's address this. Okay, what in the world is going on in media? Just from your perspectives, how is this funny?
Oh.
We should all go Amish, in my opinion. I'm just kidding.
No media.
No media.
I don't know where it started. Well, I do know where it started. Back in the sexual revolution, I'm sure most people remember that in history class.
Blame my generation.
And or had to experience
you
it
go.
themselves. Not that it's not always been around, the issue of sex outside of marriage, but with the sexual revolution, that kind of skyrocketed just a transition of how people viewed sex, especially in the media. You're just seeing protests for, women wanting to have control of their bodies with the pro-choice movement and all of that. And it just trickles into every facet of relationship, especially into marriage. So marriage is not being looked at as, man and woman getting married, having that family unit, that solid family unit. It's getting looked at differently, and that's a whole nother issue. But
Good point.
But when that's kind of being skewed as how it's created to be, that makes sex go kind of haphazard.
It's however you want it. We actually, it's interesting. We just had heard about a study done at a university. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was talking about abstinence. And their definition of abstinence was basically it is whatever you want to make it. It could be holding hands, it could be strolling arm in arm, or it could be bathing together, as long as you're not having sex.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so if people are viewing abstinence, which is clearly a defined no sexual activity until marriage, now you can define it any way you want. Well, sex can be defined any way you want it. Any, in any context, whatever feels good to you, whatever feels right to you. And I think the issue with the media is that sells. People will go and watch that movie and they'll laugh through it. And we're becoming desensitized to the fact that this is now a funny thing rather than it's really a traumatizing thing. I mean, she's pregnant. She doesn't know who the father is, and now she's probably got all of these emotions going on.
With the hormones raging.
But they don't show any of that. It's just a funny comedy. So,
and they don't talk about that baby's weird life.
Right.
They, you know,
the consequences for the child.
They did not sign up for
Right.
from
Exactly.
the very beginning. I'm very curious then as to when you're talking about defining these limits, and they're saying that the abstinence program, they say it's whatever you say it is, whatever you decide to call abstinence. How do you teach people to set good boundaries? Are you saying no hand-holding until marriage, or what are you saying?
Well, we do. One of the days we go through the chemicals that bond us together. So we first start out with this stair step or ladder of attraction to sex and all of the steps in between. So we talk to the students about, okay, what is a natural progression to sex? So we get all the different steps in there, and then we do end up asking them, okay, where's somewhere that you would want, before we ask them where they're going to stop, we ask, well, if you want to get married one day, where would you want your future spouse to stop? So we have the guys say where it is, and the girls say. Typically, the guys say, you can't even look at the person.
Yeah.
They can't even look at them.
No looking.
Can't even date. The girl's a little bit nicer. There's like, oh, you can hold hands, you can kiss him, but nothing more than that. And then we ask them, well, can you control what they're doing? And they're like, no. I said, but can you control the choices, the decisions, the boundaries that you're going to have for yourselves? And they say yes. And that's coupled with all of the other stuff that goes along with it. There's so much information that we give them, and that's in high school. Because high schoolers, we feel, are a little bit more mature and ready to hear some of that harder, tougher stuff. But we talk about boundaries in middle school as well. We talk about the importance of boundaries and how they can keep us safe, even from getting your hand burned or getting your heart broken from a boyfriend. Just there's so much that we can talk to them about. And every year we do actually revamp our program to what we see in the schools that is getting talked about by the students, so that it's something that's relevant each year for them.
Give me an example of some of the fun activities you do. Take it back for sixth grade, just because I think this has got to be hilarious. I mean, how many boyfriends do you have in the sixth grade, and what defines that is who you're sitting beside in science class.
He looked at me today.
This week, yeah, exactly. He's my boyfriend today, and then next week it will be someone new because you have a new lab partner or whatever. So, but what are some of the fun activities you do with let's start with sixth grade.
Okay.
For sixth grade, we primarily focus on setting goals and ways that you can avoid peer pressure to achieve your goals. And we do tie in how relationships can play a role in that. But one that I really love to do is called mystery bags. And we take a brown paper bag, and then we have a shiny gift bag. And they don't know what's inside. But inside the shiny gift bag is an equal packet, so artificial sweetener. And then inside the brown paper bag is real candy. So we'll send one student into the hallway, and we'll explain to the students, okay, this side of the room, you're going to try to convince them to pick this brown paper bag, even though they don't know what's in it. And then this side of the room, you're going to convince them to pick the shiny bag. They don't know what's in it. And I say, you can lie to them, you can tell them whatever, to get them to pick your bag, because at the end of it, whoever succeeds in getting them to pick their bag, you'll all get a piece of candy. So you kind of give them an incentive. So the student comes back in the room, you let them sort of fight over it and who's going to decide which bag to pick. You allow them to pick, and typically they will pick the shiny bag because it's shiny
on the outside.
And then I pull out, the artificial sweetener, and they're like, oh, what is that? They don't even know, I'm like, well, it's fake. It's fake sugar. And so then I say, you want to see what's in the other bag? And it's the real candy, and they're kind of let down. So we talked to them a little bit about the decision-making process. Was it stressful to you? You had a lot of people talking to you at once. How'd you feel? Why'd you pick this bag? And then we tell them, your classmates didn't know what was in the bag, but I told them that if they succeeded, they would get a piece of candy. How do you feel about that? Well, I feel betrayed. I feel lied to. How it was just candy. Why'd they lie to me? But we take that opportunity to talk to them about like what seems to be the best option in the moment, whether it's that shiny bag or just listening to what your friend is telling you, may not necessarily be what's healthiest for you in the long run.
Good.
And so we tie in abstinence to that. We're very brief with describing it because they're sixth graders and they don't want to hear about sex. But we'll say with abstinence, as you guys are getting older and you're in relationships, you might be getting a lot of messages about sex, and your friends might be telling you to have sex because they're having sex, but that might seem like the popular choice if it's not necessarily what's healthiest for you. And let's talk about why. So then we talk about goal setting and achieving your goals and how that could interfere with achieving your goals in the future. And so I love that activity. It's a fun one.
Good. All right, let's go into, as you work with older and older students, maybe give us an example of something you would do in the high schools. Or I know you talk about healthy dating.
Right.
How do you take these activities and tie this into healthy dating, and what do you mean by healthy dating?
Right. So, let's see. The last day of our program now, we do an activity called Give or Taker. And before we get into that, we ask, well, what are some of the qualities of a healthy relationship? So we have them list them out, and sometimes to coax them to actually talk, we tease them and say our sixth graders do better, which
they actually do
sometimes, coming up with good reasons, good healthy relationship aspects. My high schoolers. It's always fun. But after we go through that, we're like, okay, so this is a pretty good list of what this looks like. So then we draw this picture. We draw this picture of two sides of a heart with arrows pointing, like equally pointing back toward each other. And we're like, if we drew a picture of what a healthy relationship looked like, would it look like this? And they're like, yeah, that looks pretty good. Or they make fun of my drawing, whatever they want to do. But then we go on to the next picture and draw a little one, and then we draw a huge one on the other side with all of the arrows pointing toward the huge one. And I'm like, does this look like a healthy relationship? They say, no. And I'm like, why? Well, it's bigger than the other one. I'm like, okay, great. So I tell them that the smaller one is the giver, and I ask, well, what's the bigger one? Well, the taker. Exactly. So then we go through just talking to them about, okay, so what are some of the things that can be taken from the giver? And it can be anything from sex to money to goals, their time, their family. And we ask them, well, what does that look like? How's that being taken? And at the end of it, we're like, okay, so who's going to break up with whom? And they're like, well, the giver, because they're upset, they're mad that this is happening. And we talk to them, well, typically it's the taker because they've taken everything they can get from the giver.
Wow.
But we do explain to them it is possible for the giver to end that relationship with the help of friends and family, noticing that they're in an unhealthy relationship. So we're able to go through that. We explain what an unhealthy relationship looks like, what relationship abuse can look like, but in a way that's accessible to them. And then we always refer them, if you are having a hard time with this, talk to a guidance counselor. You can come to our center to talk to us, talk to a trusted adult or parent, because we always know that that's going to be hard to talk about. So we always refer them further because we don't want them to just stop there.
Yeah. This is awesome stuff.
Yes,
the program
thank you.
is sold out. We've been visiting with Sarah Ford and Megan Easterday. You want to talk to them. And Sarah and Megan, thank you so much for all you're doing in our community.
Well, thank you for
you're
having
welcome.
us.
Thank you.